Yo, welcome to Flow Tricks. It's Ken. This is an impromptu live stream. Dark Monk sent me Nunchucks. These are called Cerberus chucks. These are triple. Let me get in center. These are Cerberus chucks. They're triple nunchucks. You might have seen an old video before where I've spun like an older version of Cerberus. I really haven't played with these that much. So today I thought it would be kind of cool if I just played around. I'm going to fumble a lot. I'm going to be in the play state today. I'm going to play around with these things and share what I'm learning with the Cerberus chucks, because I think it's kind of fun to share not only like the techniques and the techniques that I've learned, but also just how I discover new ones. Give me just a second here. I am going to turn on my YouTube. Come on now, YouTube. Show me. There we go. Hopefully that'll work here. Give me just a second. Actually. Dope. Knocking things over. Dope. Knocking things over. That's funny. Give me just a second here, everyone. I'm gonna check the chat room here, make sure that. Okay. So basically, I'm just gonna do some exploring. This is gonna be some play state exploring. I'll probably answer some nunchuck questions soon, but I thought it would be fun, like I said, to just explore these chucks. Now, I don't know everything that I'm doing, but I do want to share some of the things I've learned with these things. It's really hard. It's a lot harder than a single chuck, because whenever you're spinning one, the rope's always in the way. So like when I do this spin like this, a front to back roll, what happens? My hand gets tangled. So the idea that I've come up with these chucks, the idea that I'm looking at is basically anytime you do a hand roll, you're going to have to do some sort of diagonal motion. Otherwise, the moment you do this, see, you're going to get wrapped up right there. Boom. So you can't really go one direction too much. You're going to have to add some redirection. So in order to escape this, I'll have to unwind my hands and pull it through the circle that way, which looks like a lot of work. But what I found is you can kind of do this. You can kind of do this roll and then this. Hold on. You can do this roll, and then you kind of give it like this diagonal push through to get through it. Yes, that's what it is, like that. So there is this motion that you can use to escape, but I'm still exploring it, and that is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to jam out for a little bit. I'm going to play some music. You're welcome to watch. I'll probably share whatever discoveries I can come up with. Again, these are the Cerberus nunchucks from Dark Monk. I know he made his first pair last week, and he shared it with, who was it? I'm sorry, I just talked to him too. I think his name was Eric. Please, if I did the wrong name, I apologize. And then he sent me a pair to play with, and I thought it'd just be really fun to play with it while you guys are checking it out. That sounds really bad. Okay, let me play some music here. I'm gonna play with these chucks. So, obviously, if you're going from nunchucks, front to back hand roll, back to front, that's pretty easy, right? Watch this. If you go to front to back here, we're stuck, right? We're stuck. So what I was thinking was you roll it here and push it through like that. So roll, push. So roll it. Oops. So it's a front to back hand roll. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our hand and push it through that way, almost like a diagonal spin. So whoosh. Oops. I told you I'm gonna fumble a lot. I'm totally in the play state right now. I'm trying to understand this chuck. Here, roll, push. Whoosh, whoosh, right? I also realized you can go, if you can get it below the arm here, so there's a spin below the arm, you get one above and one below. So it's like below, above, and it can go forever this way, but I have to get this chuck to roll below it and above it, which makes it really hard. So it's like below, above, below, above. There's usually not enough time to do this, so I think if you added an extra roll, like, let's see, you could do like below, above. I think if we could just add one extra roll to it. That would be it. We kind of change our hand. We switch the hand to give it more time. So here, roll it through, roll it through. I think that's a good one here. Plus it looks neat. It looks like we're having to reverse the chuck to get through so we don't get ourselves tied up. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And it could be the same for the other side too, and we could probably create combos revolving around both hands that way if I could just figure out what exactly I'm doing here. That's really what it boils down to. You should also be able to go over the head and then switch it down and get below the hand down here too. Oh my gosh, it's just like so much rolling. Wow. Of course, there's the one of my favorite moves, and it's the easiest. It's just holding the top like this. And just give it a little whirl. Let's try it again. That's a fun one. Super easy. Again, if you just joined us, I'm just playing with the Cerberus Nunchucks from Dark Monk. He just made these things, and I thought I'd just do a live stream of exploring this. I have no idea how to use these proficiently yet. I'm still working on it. I was playing with this too. It's kind of a hard catch. And if you mess it up, like because the center point can kind of cause it to fail. I'm trying to see if I can get a good catch with this. Hold on, let me see. So close. You can see it. You have one moment to grab it. There we go, that's it. Because the center just flops it around, so you have to be really careful about having it precisely move. Oh, so close again. It's tricky. It's very tricky. Very tricky. I see some comments here. The only comments I can read right now are going to be the ones on my YouTube page. So be sure to jump on my YouTube channel if you have any questions. And I don't know why it's not showing up here. Give me a second here. There we go. Huh. Well, that stinks. Okay, so I can read your messages. For some reason, it's just not showing up on the live stream, so I'm just going to delete this out. I see Sensei Emmett says, awesome. Jacob O. Arnold says, am I that far behind you? I did a chuck. Christina says, way cool. Probably because I'm practicing. Guess I should watch more vids. Now, this is brand new. This is like, if you're just catching up, Dark Monk just sent me a Cerberus chuck, and this is, I don't really train Cerberus chuck. I've had an old one for many years, and I was always scared to try it. I did just very little, but now I'm determined to figure out how in the heck do we use this. Right now, what I've been working on, and I encourage you guys to consider, like, even if you can build your own, or if you want to get one from Dark Monk, that's totally cool. I encourage you guys to, like, help me figure out moves with this thing. Right now, it's probably a very small community of Cerberus chuckers. But what I find is this is really cool if you want to have a lot of rotation, but you have to always move things out of the way to keep it going. Of course, if we have this, we should be able to. I feel like if I had enough force, I could do like a helicopter and just really spin it like crazy, but something like that, you know. But holding it into a clutch, that would be so cool. I just have to figure out how that would work. Again, the problem is you have to have equal power on both sides, and you have to get your arm out of the way for it to hit. And if you're just joining again, this is Ken from Flotrix. We're just exploring these Nunchucks. I am not proficient in these yet. I'm just playing to figure out how to be proficient. So back to front hand rolls seem to be pretty cool. Throws seem really easy. Throws feel like too, because you can basically just throw them like you would. And catch it, and then get your hands back into placement. I haven't practiced too much with back grip yet either. But the problem that you usually run into these chucks is it's easy to get caught because there's three different ways. There's three chucks. There's one always trying to wrap around you at all times and getting stuck in your wrist. So every time you do a hand roll, you have to move it out of the way. And so I'm like working on all these different hand rolls, trying to figure out, okay, how do I move my hand out of the way of this before it gets stuck? And that's kind of part of the fun of it too, though. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Add a little front to back hand roll to exchange the chuck that's spinning in the center. I don't know how to get back from there. Crazy. Can I do it from the top? Yes. Yes, it's very sloppy though. I wonder if I can X catch while this spins in front of me. Shoot. So I need to practice my X catch spinning it this way before I try to X catch it, but I think it's possible again. If it's spinning. So the X catch, what I'm trying to do is do an X catch behind while I keep the one in front spinning, which is not working so hot right now. Oh, it's so close. The problem is when you do the X catch, there's slack in the rope, which causes it to fold in, and then it wraps around your hand again. I mean, it's easy if you just do it like a regular nunchuck, you know? But then you lose the effect of why would you do that when you have 3 of them? You want to do something kind of weird and crazy, right? I also feel like if you have 2 back grips, you can come up with some really interesting things as well, because you have control over both of these chucks. I just don't know. Again, I don't know what to do with them yet. Let's see. Yep.
I could be anything.
I wonder if you could like do a leg catch. Nah, it's gonna be hard. Again, if you're just joining, this is Ken from Flotrix, testing out Dark Monk's new tri-chuck, the Cerberus chuck. He just sent it to me today, and I thought, man, why don't I just live stream it instead of trying to figure out all these moves quietly? So I'm gonna do a lot of fumbling today. I'm in the play state. I'm gonna read off some messages that are in the YouTube stream here. He says, way cool. Jacob Arnold says, probably because I'm practicing, guess I should watch more videos. Wahoo Cobra says, dang, that looks so smooth. It really is. It's really hard. It's a lot harder than a regular chuck, although it could also be because I'm not used to spinning it too. Marco says, I'm from Brazil. You are very good, but it's so difficult. It really is. No, I believe that. This is not an easy one at all. Again, throws aren't too bad. I feel like throws are not too bad. All the standard nunchuck throws I feel like can work, and you might even be able to do some weird, I don't know, like you could probably come up with some really weird stuff. You know, with X catches, I just want to see if we can keep the nunchuck spinning while we do it. Oh man. There really is a lot of possibilities, but the odds of you getting stuck in this are about triple compared to a regular chuck. Every time I do a hand roll, if I keep my hand there, it's gonna get stuck, right? Because the other rope gets stuck. So you're always trying to, again, the goal of the Cerberus that I'm trying to work on right now is how can I do nunchuck moves without getting it tangled? And I found the easiest way is to do a roll and then move it diagonally out of the way so it goes back into the open space. Because if it keeps going the same direction after your hand roll, it almost always ties you up. So it's like hand roll, diagonal. Oh, just hit my arm. Hand roll, diagonal. Hit my arm again. Hand roll, diagonal. Hand roll, diagonal. There we go. So it's a little bit of plane bending, and it's tough. I think if I go nice and slow, finger roll should be pretty easy. R, just recently discovered your channel and I'm loving it. Keep up the awesome work. Thank you, R. I appreciate that. Oh, and Mixed Martial Arts Kung Fu Palestine says, excellent, dear friend. Welcome to my channel, sport. Yeah, no, thanks. And Jim Garden says, your muscle memory an advantage or disadvantage when learning at this stage? So, it's an advantage. For me, it's an advantage, but it's an advantage because I studied more than nunchucks. If I just studied nunchucks, I think I'd be at a disadvantage because I try to cram in my nunchuck moves too much. But since I've worked with others, like staff, for instance, I know it kind of sounds weird, but even just having like different types of weapons training and prop training, this is probably not going to work, is it? Different kinds of props and weapons has made me step outside of the nunchuck realm. So what it does is it just puts me in the mindset of thinking about the dynamics of the prop I'm using. If you see this as a regular chuck, you'll only get so far before you get really stuck. So like you kind of have this, okay, so the front to back hand roll works, but then we have to start hybriding it pretty good. So I do think my muscle memory from my nunchucks do help. Probably gets in the way a little bit, but it definitely helps me build the foundation, but I definitely have to be able to jump away from it in order to actually do anything with this thing. I haven't even tried far grip yet. I don't even know what far grip could be like, but I'm assuming like you could do all these weird kind of isolations as long as you don't hit yourself. What about passes? Can we just pass? Oh, weird. I wonder if you can do like, cause like, check out, you can just like do a pass here and then you can just like steal the chucks from behind you. Just grab it. Say, hey, what's up? Like, people don't even realize you have a tri-chuck. You're just like, hey, you want to see me spin some chucks? Bloop. I don't know. Kind of a nice little trick. It's a new one. I don't think you can slide it down because all the weight will fall in the back. But I think if you slid it out this way, since there's more weight causing it to fall backwards, you might be able to come up with a move that catches it from the back. So like we could go maybe here, let it slide away. Nah, it's not really going, is it? You know, something like that. So there's so much more weight, it's gonna just kind of go a little bit slower. I mean, you might be able to pop it up and catch it underneath. That was my thought, at least. Again, just because I have the thought doesn't mean I can do it. It means I have to train it. Have to train it a bit first to see if it works. Kind of reminds me of the prayer drop, slightly. Oh man, what else can we do with this thing? I don't even know. I really like the Simex. If I could just get it cleaner. It's definitely sloppy right now. There we go. There it is. You can see it, and you only have a second before it just flops itself away. And I can't always. This center part really messes with the whole dynamics of it, and I haven't figured out how to make it work better yet. Oops. So there's that. And then let's see what else we got here. Thinking about. The wheel I think would be too hard. The wheel is going to be, because you have that chuck, I think it's going to cause like this weird drag, causing your fingers to get really stuck because you have this other chuck just kind of hanging there. You might be able to pull it off, but you're basically pulling. I wonder if you could do a wheel with 3 fingers though. That's how you'd have to do it. You'd have to have a third finger pushing along, so you'd have to have 2 fingers on one chuck. Maybe you could even do like pinky and thumb. These are the things I think of. I think of like, how do I, whenever I translate to a new prop, I'm trying to think of ideas that I already know, and then I have to think of how to think outside the box to make it work. Because definitely the wheel itself, just the standard chuck thing, is going to get you tangled up because of that third chuck. Fingers totally stuck. I'm going to read some comments here. But if you're just joining us again, this is just an impromptu live stream. I'm testing out Dark Monk's Cerberus chuck. And instead of waiting and training this for like a week or 2 and then making a video, I just thought I'd just show my exploration. All right, so Mixed Martial Arts Kung Fu Palestine says, you are an excellent player, Nunchaku. Thank you, I appreciate that. Eric, hey Ken, I can watch your stream, but I can't practice with you today. Working right now? Hey, that's totally cool. We'll have to do it soon though, definitely. I feel like there's a lot of tricks to this nunchuck, but the dynamic is totally different. With nunchuck, I feel like you can always stop. There's always a nice way, like there's always a element of control that you have with just one chuck, right? But with these 2, even more than double chucks, you have to keep this in motion because you can only grab 2, so there's always going to be one just kind of flopping around.
So it's like, it almost feels like it always needs to be in some sort of motion unless you grab it like this. Or if you have something like that, like a pass where all three are nice and secure. I suppose this could work too. What's interesting is just the different kinds of switches. Like obviously the hand that's, if you do a tuck, the hand that's farthest away can push over into a tuck on the other side. You don't have a lot of time for it, but there is a way to exchange that tuck. And then of course we have strikes, like it'd be like a double-handed strike, boom. And then I also think you could like do a strike and almost do a pass, like you can swing out, but then you let go and grab the other one as it swings, like grab, grab. Super simple, nice and basic right now, but that's where we have to start, is we have to understand the dynamics of what we're working with, right? Hand rolls feel good, but then you get tangled up, so you always have to readjust the alignment or angle. Here, push it through, same thing, push it through. Oh, gotta watch out too for the crook of the hand. So you really wanna have like big alignment and outward, because this chuck just hit the inside of my arm. And if you look at this, really, if I hold my chuck like this and it's bent, it's gonna hit the inside of my arm every time because it's so long. So I really have to make this diagonal type of motion as opposed to a completely horizontal motion, because the odds of it hitting your hand go way up, just because it's longer. You've just got more space. The extra rope makes this nunchuck this long, you know? Much longer than a fist. So the control of planes is probably gonna be an important one. And I think the ability to bend planes, so to have these diagonal motions, I think is gonna be really important to keep the flow going so you don't get tangled up. Because I think that's the goal with this, is to be able to swing these things without getting too wound up. See, I'm wound up here. Now I have to think of how to get through it. I suppose a bounce could work. Oh. And of course, still my favorite move is just good old, I don't know, I feel like there could be some really, maybe you can even throw it. Oh, you can, that's so cool. Catching it is another story. That's pretty fun though. Just, wow. Thought about a pizza bounce. The problem is these are so, like there's so much weight behind these and there's so much force just because there's an extra chuck that it's really coming down pretty hard. I already, yeah, so that's the basis of this live stream. It's just me fumbling around and talking about how I fumble around professionally. All right, I'm gonna read some more comments here. Victor says, looks dope. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I'm gonna jump on Facebook too, just to make sure. Facebook. The good old book of faces. Excuse me while I'm off screen here. All right. Here we go. So, good old Devil May Cry. Thank you, Dante. All right. So let's see. What else do you guys think we could do with these things? I know it's probably really hard to say. Like, it's a lot easier to try than it is to say it, but I'm just trying to think of what other techniques can you think of with the chucks that you think might look good with 3 chucks, you know? Passes look pretty cool. There's definitely different ways that you can pass. This is the most secure neck. Like, this is the most secure sitting on my neck than it ever has been. There's no way this is coming off because I got that weight in the back as well. We've got passes. Hyper style would be okay as long as you have both hands on the chucks. I feel like you could do hyper style pretty good. Maybe add a little hand roll to it too, you know? Bounce, bounce. What else could we do? I love doing rolls. So far, I love doing rolls, and I'm trying to think of better ways to use the momentum. Things like this. I feel like this is something to capitalize on because this is a unique trait of this chuck. Can't do that with a regular chuck. And I've always wanted to. I've always wanted to do a throw and just have a chuck whirl in the air for, you know, there's this, one time I thought of this nunchuck build where you use helicopter fan blades for nunchucks. So when you threw it in the air, it should like just whiz away, you know? Just this horizontal aerial that just, But this kind of gives you that feeling, except for you're totally cheating it. You're totally cheating it here, but I feel like there can be some really cool moves to come from that. Things just haven't thought about yet. But if you have some ideas or thoughts, what you think could be done with the triple chuck, I know it's hard to put into words, but let me know. Let's see, what else we got here? I mean, throws, I feel like throws, although they just kind of have this weird wingy look, I feel like throws aren't too bad because the chucks are already built to like have the momentum go to the outside. So I wonder if you probably put enough force, they should straighten themselves out even. So that's cool. That's cool. I still want that money shot, and I don't know what that money shot is yet. You know, like that move that is just so crazy and killer because there's the third chuck kind of move. And I want to find that, and I don't know what that move is yet. But I know it exists. There's got to be something so nuts and so crazy. Digit rolls are really difficult. I mean, it just looks weird because you can do it if you hold on to the third chuck, but then it just looks like you're cheating the system anyways. It looks a lot better with 2 chucks than it does with 3. Because this, I feel like I'm cheating. Like, people would just say, well, it's because he's holding the chuck up here as opposed to when you're using this. But really, you're just holding it so it stays out of the way. If you let it go, it just falls and gets wrapped and gets stuck. So maybe if there's a way to figure out how to do finger rolls, again, I'm assuming that you're going to have to roll that third one with another finger. You're going to have 3 fingers to roll through it, which is going to be insane. It's going to have to require some sort of specific kind of grip, I'm assuming. I just don't know what that grip would be yet. Something to think about. Let's see here. Indigo Child, I think you could do chuck aerials. Haha, yes, throws. Totally, yeah. Throws. I think throws will look great. Chain unwinders are really hard to do. You know how I do the chain unwinders? This is an awkward one because it's always off. So I'm thinking there might be a cool chain unwinder grip, but I tried the one where my hand is in the middle and it just tears up this middle part. Like, there's got to be some separation to it. And I think there's something to this, but this really is tearing up my hand. Maybe I'm just doing the technique badly, or maybe there's a way I can clasp with 2 hands instead. And then, yeah, that's probably better. Yeah, this is a lot more comfortable on the hands to do a chain unwinder where I have it under both thumbs and I clasp in the middle like this. How do we get to this? I don't know yet, but that's something. I also think you could probably go into a butterfly if I could just, like, you know, like I could hold this chuck and then get butterfly going with these 2 chucks. The only problem with that is there's this extra slack that happens. So even if these are full extended, this one has like this extra loop which causes the chucks to flop up and down here, just because of the nature of how Cerberus chuck is made. I do like that though. I do like that. I do like this if I can just. Oh shoot! If I can just find a cool way to do that. Indigo says hyperstyle. Now I do think hyperstyle, like I do think there's gonna be some sweet like because you always have 2 chucks, it's almost like bat, like you can almost like hit, like what I'm trying to say is there's gotta be like passes that you can do to really slam down like that hyper motion. So whereas the old hyperstyle, we're always gripping one and we're doing bounces, I feel like because we have 2 chucks in our hand, we should be able to like keep like exchanging the chuck somehow. There's got to be a seamless way to do all these cool bounces and then exchange, and that should give us options to go to angles we couldn't normally do with 1 chuck, I think. The only problem is we still have to control two chucks while we're doing bounces. So obviously the easiest way is to always have the hands 1 up, 1 down, but there's got to be other things we can do to it too. Like, even if I'm doing left and right bounces over here, I feel like if you pass it here, you might be able to sneak this one out and grab the other one. This is going to take some time to practice though, because it's like, you know what I'm saying. There's definitely some practicing that has to come with this type of motion. But at the same, it's just like cool because you know, you can do just little flicks anytime to come up to try to find new bounce points. You know what I'm saying? The only thing is the moment you flick it, like if I flick this over here, I gotta make sure I grab the other one, otherwise I lose control of the chuck, you know? And then I have 2 floating chucks, which could be cool too if you can find a good hyper bounce that like keeps them going in motion. That's just not my forte, the good old Superman. Alright, I'm gonna read some comments on the YouTube channel here. Let's see, Colton On says, whoa, those are crazy. Yes, they are. Indigo Child, 2-hand chain unwinders looks awesome. Thanks, man. Yeah, I think so too. I feel like there's something here. I don't know how to get into this yet, but I wonder if you can. Yes, you can. Oh wow. You can just grab it, wind it up one direction, launch it. Whoa. And launch it, although I twisted too hard. I was really big on the torque, so it ended up flying with the twist. Christina, I've never seen those before. What are they called? Christina, they're called Cerberus chucks, and Dark Monk sent me this pair. This was actually not, I'm not the first person to have these, not at all. This was a guy named Eric. A guy named Eric ordered these from Dark Monk, and Dark Monk called me to ask about my old pair. Let me see. Give me a second now. See if I can find them. Here they are. This was the original pair of Cerberus chucks. You might have seen this in a video. So this is the one I was originally using, and these are really old. This was a prototype given to me by a person named Hobbs, like almost 10 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, a long time ago. And so you can see there's a big metal ring, and then there's 3 chucks, and they're very long. They almost have like, they're more staff-like because of their length, right? These are shorter, as you can see, by about 2 or 3 inches. So what we have here is where this one I feel like is more body oriented, where we can have these passes that kind of bounce through the body a little bit more. What we have with these Cerberus chucks is the ability to go inside the body more, like doing this that we couldn't do before because it wouldn't clear, like it was too long to clear through the insides of my arms. But now that I can go to the insides, so basically I have all this space in here now that I can use with these chucks because they're shorter. So like it's even doing something like this with the other chucks, might uppercut me in the chin. So now I can start thinking about closer in moves that I couldn't have accomplished with longer chucks. These are just things to always think about, because when you have the longer ones, they can look cooler because they're bigger, and usually bigger things do look cooler to the audience. But with these, you can go for intricate. You can go for, like, there's a lot more precise, really interesting, like, again, this type of underarm thing could not be done with longer chucks. You need shorter chucks for that because it won't have enough space to clear the inside of that arm. But then it's just about feeling it out and figuring out what in the world can you do with these things. I'm gonna go check here and see what we got. So Indigo Child asks, how are they connected in the middle? And as you can tell, look at the difference between these two. This one has a big ring in it, right? So this has a big ring, and then we have swivels to the outside. This was the original pair, which I think might make it a little bit harder for the chain unwinders because your hand has to go around that big ring like this. So it might, it could still work. It does, no, it's not too bad. It does kind of grind on the back of my hand. This still works too, but this is more like a key ring with keys on it. Still cool. I still like these. And this, what's cool about this is you can see there's swivels on every single point. So there's a very small circle with little swivels on every point. This allows me to obviously do infinite spins this way, and it keeps all of the pressure here. It doesn't go all the way down to the bottom of the chuck, meaning if my chucks are wound up, even if I wind this around one finger, I can still do these spins. So even I'm just stumbling today, I tell you what. Even if I can grip these parts of the rope, it's not going to stop it from swiveling, which I think is going to be kind of cool. And what's interesting is if you lengthen the rope, like if we made it longer, you could probably come up with even crazier moves because you could like wind a finger inside, for instance, and do some moves. But then it's going to be longer too, so you're going to hit yourself in the face more. So it's always like, the perfect chuck, and it's the same with chucks too. This is the same with chucks, y'all. Like when you have chucks, the longer it goes, the more options you have for different moves, but then you lose other moves. And it's gonna be the same for this too. It's really playing with variables and seeing what feels the most comfortable. And also that also means like if you have a pair of nunchucks that you don't think are very good, you should still work with it so you can understand the dynamics of where its strengths are, because every single chuck is good for something. It's always good for at least one thing. You just have to figure out what it is.
Sometimes it's just breaking. Let's see here. Urban, the DK, says, I want to make these, but with string. Do you think it's possible? I mean, these are made with string. Right here. The chucks that I'm using now, the Dark Monk ones, are made with string, and then it's connected to a really sweet swivel, which is connected to a circular ring in the middle. And again, too, Dark Monk makes these. He sent me this pair to try out, and I just thought I would just share this with y'all. But if you think you could make your own pair too, that's totally cool. I definitely think you should swivel it though. Like, you should definitely have a swivel, because if there's no swivel and if it's just 3 ropes connected together, every time you whirl it around, it's gonna get tied up more and more and more, which is really good actually. I don't know if you guys saw some of my doubles moves. When I use 2 chucks, sometimes like when I do this, I'm actually tying them up, and if I had a swivel, I wouldn't be able to get these locks where it's all locked up like this. This is what allows me to keep the chuck from escaping. So like if I threw it in the air, it won't come undone because it's all twisted up. So there's times when you don't want to have a swivel. Double chucks, I don't necessarily always want to have a swivel because of that. This is a nice lock, but we don't necessarily want these triple chucks to lock up because it's already locking up so easily. I mean, there's so many ways you can lock it up, so it's always good to have a swivel so it can always escape itself. Oh wow, yeah, I could probably do that. Infinite finger roll. So cheating. So cheating. Yeah. Let me see. So let's see. I'm gonna read back up here. String sounds pretty easy to make. Yeah, string could work. I was also thinking string. Think it's best to use a ring in the middle. I think a swivel would definitely be, I really think a swivel would be helpful. I can't imagine doing a triple, like a Cerberus, without some sort of way to unwind itself, because every time it does this rotation, it's gonna get more wound up and more wound up to the point where it won't want to move anymore. Unless you have specific moves where winding it up is good, then go ahead and do it. But in my opinion, I feel like for something like this, you probably want to have that freedom to do this, because you often have to do these particular winds to escape the rolls that kind of already lock it up. Let's see. Ken, are these chucks available to the public yet? If not, do you happen to know when? I want to get my hands on these things. I'm assuming they are. This is the second pair that Dark Monk has made, so you could always send him a message. Just go to Dark Monk. If you're not sure where to find Dark Monk, it's dark-monk.com. He's the guy that makes these things. I don't actually make these things. He just sends them my way, and I'm just like, I try them out, and I'll give him hinters, or I'll give him pointers to what I think could be improved with the chucks. With the Cerberus, I didn't have as much say in these, just because these are so experimental. He just wants me to play with them. So for me, it's about unlocking and figuring out how to use this thing that he made. You know, I'm not saying he made Cerberus chucks, but I'm saying he made his own version of Cerberus chucks, which are these, and they're pretty boss. They're pretty cool. All right, let me see here. Urban the DK says, how would you make them with string? I'm pretty skilled at making nunchucks. Again, if you use string, I think the most important thing is you'll want to have some sort of connection point in the center. I mean, you're more than welcome to take a look at these. The chain version that I have here, it looks like kind of like a key ring, and then they use quick links to connect them together. The string is somehow, now I don't know how Chad makes these things, because I'm not a guy that makes stuff like this, but it looks like the chain, it's wrapped around very carefully. Like, you can just see it's wound up really nice. I don't even know where the knot's at. I don't see it. It's just completely connected in there, and it's around a swivel which goes into this little ring over here. Oh yeah, they look like they're fully chained. Yeah, these are all rope. Yeah. Urban says, thanks for the explanation. Master Shalik Jamshir Taekwondo says, you are the best nunchucker and the best teacher, Master Ken. Well, thank you. I just want to make a million ninjas. You know, I don't know if you guys have probably heard this spiel in my videos, but that's my goal. Like, I want people to like know how to express themselves artistically with the use of creative weapons. For me, it was so helpful to have that. And I have a good day or a bad day, I just pick up the chucks, let it out. Have a good day, it just makes me feel better. Have a bad day, it lets me get it out. I think that nunchucks are awesome. Well, all flow arts for that matter, but nunchucks are just, you know, home base. Let's see. Urban the DK, maybe a monkey fist knot would work instead of a swivel. Possibly, yeah, that's true. I don't know how to make a monkey fist knot, but I'm very aware of what they are. Thanks, I really need to try. And that's just it. The thing is even if you don't have the ways to make it, okay? I mean, you can order from Dark Monk. He's already got a model done. But even if you want to make it yourself, explore. Like, dude, maybe you'll come up with a new idea that we could all use to advance this thing. Because right now, there's not a lot of people using these things. So if you want to be a part of a community that is now the Cerberus nunchuck community, jump on in. I'm trying to figure it out too. We could learn on this together. This isn't going to be a Ken teaches how to do a tri-chuck. This is going to be like we're all kind of learning and trying to figure out what in the world can you do with this thing together. So it's kind of fun. It's like kind of a new thing, right? You might have had to catch up learning chucks with me, but right here we're all just kind of trying to figure out what this is about. All right, I want to say my name once, please. Sarim Gaming YT. I'm assuming you're a gaming YouTuber. Welcome to the page. Coltonon says you could probably use bearings at the handles rather than in the center. It would still work the same. No, I agree. And also, these chucks have bearings in them right here too. They do. The only thing is if you ever do any kind of grips or holding onto it, then obviously it locks up the rotation, which is nice to have rotation by the string, because you might be able to eventually come up with techniques that allow you to lock in into the rope, or do some sort of rope techniques, like for instance a moon wave. You know how we do a moon wave? That would lock up the ability to swivel. If the other chuck was moving in some direction, that would lock it up. This is just a guess. I mean, again, maybe not, but for me, I like having the swivel next to the ring instead, because then it gives me access to this, but I don't know what to do with it yet. I just have a feeling like somewhere down the line, we're gonna have techniques that use this portion of it, you know, where we'll press in or we'll grab it or do something weird. I have no idea. Urban says, I'm the same guy you replied to earlier. hey, can you wish my friend a happy birthday? His name is Jenya YD Ahmed. He watches your video. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry if I pronounce this wrong. Is it Jenya Ahmed? Happy birthday, Jenya Ahmed. Seriously, keep the chucks going, and I hope you have an awesome rotation around the sun. I just want to thank all you guys for that matter, you know, like, thanks for responding and keeping up with the channel. We've been doing this 10 years and we've been growing. We've almost up to 60,000 followers, and we've got a Patreon, and I can kind of do this part-time, and there's all kinds of good reasons why I'm really happy with this community and all that it's done, you know. It's just, you have this passion and you share it, and people are paying attention, and they're growing and you're growing. It's just so cool. And this is something where we can all grow, because I'm guessing most of the time. I just have been able to guess with 10 years of experience of other things, so it helps. Well, 13 actually, but who's counting? God, I'm old. So yeah, if you can make a pair, that would be pretty cool. If you can get a pair, that would be cool too, but let's figure these things out. I think this is gonna be really fun. I don't think it's gonna be easy. I think that it's gonna be, to some degree, I feel like it's a little bit harder than double chucks, because, and maybe it's just because I've done double chucks for a long time, but single chucks, absolutely those are harder. But double chucks is like, I still have control, like both hands have control of the chucks all the time. But this one, it's like, there's always something just kind of flopping around. There's always something just kind of hanging around. So you always have to keep some sort of motion or some sort of grip, unless you just cheat it or grab two on one end, which probably isn't really cheating. But there's something to that. I wonder if also if you could have
And if you could make like a skinny, really thin, skinny pair, and you have magnets, so you can like clack them together, and it's like a staff, you know, like it would come up in like a 3, so it just looks like a staff, and then you could like break it apart, you know what I'm saying? Like that would be pretty cool too. Can't lie, that would be pretty sick. If someone wants to build that, I would love to see something like that. It's kind of wicked. Yeah, I don't know. I'd just be nervous about if it's metal. You will hit yourself a lot with these. So, all right. Let me see here. I'm going to. Sorry, I lost track of where I was here. Play Devil May Cry 3 for Cerberus Chuck. Yes. I definitely want to be Dante right now. Urban, I've been practicing nunchucks for 25 plus years and nothing comes close to getting that steam after a shitty day and the feeling you get when you flow is amazing. Absolutely. Dude, I could not say like how many times I've had a hard day. Like sometimes, man, people, you know, I love people and I love you guys. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes people can be the most confusing monkeys, and it's like the best thing for me sometimes is just to get away from everything and just grab my nunchucks, start just flowing, jamming out to my music, and everything gets better. I feel like I understand everything, even though I don't know anything. But when I'm in that state, man, when I'm in that flow, it's all good. It's all good. It's perfect. You know, it's good positive habit. I wish more people would do that. You know, I always feel bad when people, I don't want to say destroy their lives, but they have habits that, well, yeah, destroy their lives. And it's like, dude, pick up some chucks, man. You get mad, swing it at a tree or something. Well, don't hurt the tree, but, you know, swing it at a bag or, I don't know, nunchucks are, you know, even if you knock yourself out, at least you're doing something. At least you're hurting yourself, learning and to try to do something positive. So, you know, I don't know where I'm going with that. I'm losing it. Wahoo Cobra says, no Ken, thank you. You're insane and have helped me more than you know with nunchucks and other flowy weapons. Well, thank you. No, I appreciate that. That's awesome. I would love to see more performers too, man. Like, now I know that fire dancing is something that takes a lot of time and you want professionals to teach you, but I would love to see like a community, like the community that has learned from me to eventually become either LED performers or circus performers or blend in and do martial arts tournaments and win all the medals, you know? There's different focuses here that we can use to like apply this in real life outside of just training to get out your feelings. And I mean, that's what I do, and I just hope more of you guys get that experience too. It's fantastic. All right, so Urban the DK says, how would you rank Cerberus chucks compared to single chucks and doubles? First day with Cerberus chucks, I would rank them as, I'm gonna give them a 7. I'm gonna give doubles an 8, and I'm gonna give singles a 9. Am I like biased or what? The Cerberus is my least favorite, but you gotta think that I've only used these really just a few times, so I really suck at these right now. I feel that it's a limited prop because you have 3, but there's a huge but to this, which is as these unlock, you'll start realizing the reason why these are so limited is because we're still seeing these as nunchucks, and when we start seeing these as Cerberus chucks, and Cerberus starts having its own moves, and we've been doing this for a year, it won't be so hard anymore. When I first started doing nunchucks, you know, I was doing, dude, I remember when I was doing moonwaves and blowing everyone's mind. You know, now it's just a beginner move, but back in the old days, when I discovered, I'm sure other people may have figured out this move too, but I just never met anyone. When I discovered that you can just bounce a chuck like this, dude, I was blowing minds left and right. And now it's just like, it's a beginner move, right? And so I feel the same with the Cerberus chucks. It's like the idea of twisting out after a roll feels weird, but that's just because it's not something we're used to doing. It's something that could be built, so. And I always like single chucks. They're always gonna be my favorite with regards to all of them. I feel like double chucks are really cool and fun. They're just not my favorite thing to do. Like, I'd rather spin double stabs than 2 chucks. I know that sounds kind of weird, but I'd rather have 2 stabs in my hand and spin those around. I don't know why. There's just some kind of feeling about that. But I do like double chucks. Don't get me wrong. I think they're fantastic. There's a lot of variety, a lot of cool moves, and just I don't know. But when you're in single chuck mode, the one thing I can say is you control the pattern. I've said this before, but you control the pattern with the single chucks. You can always grab it, stop it, adjust. With doubles, you kind of have, the pattern kind of controls you. You have to wait for the pattern to open to move. And when I say open, it's just like, you kind of have to wait for things to happen, because when your chucks are moving into certain positions or patterns, there's certain spots where you have to stay still and wait for the pattern to finish. So for me, I feel like double chucks usually looks fancier to crowds, so a lot of people tend to go for the double chucks, and that's totally fine. But I just really love the single chuck. Plus, when you're spinning, you have this extra hand that can be like, this hand is supposed to do something. If you're doing single chucks and your free hand isn't doing anything, then you might as well, like, that's definitely less exciting than passing it back and forth. You know, you've got to be using both hands if you really want to take advantage, the full advantage of having a single chuck. Even if you're not using it, just the ability to rotate and just all these little frills that you can do that add accentuation is just something that can only be done if you have a free extra hand. So again, that's why I like single chucks, because it's just, you can put more style into it, in my opinion. Now, don't hate me for that, it's just my opinion. Some people love double chucks. All the more power to you. I do too. I just like single chucks better. I've always been a single chucker. All right, let's see here. R says, how are they connected? Yeah, sure. I'll go over this again. There's a small circle in the center, and you got some swivels, and then we're just gonna whoosh. We're gonna run through it. And again, highly encourage you guys to get some. If Dark Monk makes these, and then so you can go on YouTube and just look up Dark Monk. You probably have to message him directly. But it's dark-monk.com, or if you can't afford it, or if there's no way you can get to them or whatever, you can always try it. Or if you just want to get experimental, go ahead and try to make your own too. And don't always look at the other builds to see how you want to build it. Maybe you should try your own ideas, because what if you come up with a killer idea that no one's thought about yet? And there's only one way to do that, which is to give it a shot, right? Oh, Urban the Decay is asking in terms of fun. Sorry, I still go with those ratings right now. I still go with those ratings. However, like, dude, this move here is a blast. I don't know why. This is a really cool move. So how about certain moves are more fun? Like, I love doing that with the Cerberus chucks. It's probably in my top 10 favorite things to do, because I feel like there's gonna be a lot of cool things that we can do to play around with it. Whoa! I don't know if you saw that, but when I threw it upwards, this thing actually flipped upside down. I almost felt like I could catch it like an umbrella. I feel like there's some really cool tricks that can be done with that, but it's still a little too difficult for me to have a lot of fun. I'm still really focused. I can't do it without thinking yet. Let's see. Yao Ming's friend says, Ken is responsible for helping me with my dream of becoming more like Michelangelo. Yes! Awesome. Good. I want to have 1 million people that say that. 1 million ninjas. That's what we're going for, is 1 million ninjas. Now we have almost 7 million views and almost 60,000 subscribers. So we're getting there. I'm gonna say, how about we say 1 million subscribers instead of 1 million ninjas? That way I know those are people that subscribed and are truly like ready and trying to go for it. Let's see. What are you doing? We're doing triple chucks right now. I'm just demonstrating this new nunchuck that I got from Dark Monk, and I was just kind of rambling and playing around. Instead of waiting to come up with this really cool video, I figured I'd just do a live stream and talk to you guys in person. Make it more personable, you know? I'm gonna make a lot of sloppy mistakes while I'm going through it, but. And the last one, I completely agree with you, what you said about doubles. Yeah, man. Give me just a second here. Oh, I got some Facebook comments too. Carrie says, as you find more moves with this one, you'll develop new moves that you can cross back over to your other props. That's absolutely true. I look forward to you getting fast-paced spins with this. This is very true too. Like, if we do this move like this, right, and I'm able to do a roll, there definitely could be something similar where if I have my chucks wrapped and I'm in a similar position where the chucks could go through, I may be able to find out new moves with these chucks, with double chucks, that I could learn off the Cerberus and vice versa. You should always, whenever you pick up anything new, even capoeira or martial arts or dancing or anything, there's always some way you can apply it to nunchucks and everything else. And the goal, I think, with most movement arts or just art in general, if you can find everything you know in your life, if you can connect it to everything you are doing now, it will be yours. So everything that you know about your life, your job, your kids, I know it sounds weird, but if you can find a way to metaphorically connect it to your chucking, whether it's internally, whether it's emotionally, or whether it's actually finding physical techniques that you can apply, if you can do that, your chucks will come more alive than you'll ever know, or whatever art you're doing. I mean, that's the basis of art, is the fusion of your life coming through in some sort of movement or, some sort of shape or form. So keep that in mind. So yeah, if you're playing with Cerberus chucks, even if you never get good at this, you might be able to pull it back into your nunchucks and learn a couple of sweet moves that you would have never thought of before. Scott Knapp says, I'd hit myself in the face because I'm old now. Hey man, I'm old too. And I don't mind hitting myself in the face. It's okay. Scott says, I haven't heard your voice since high school, bud. It's been a long time, high school. High school for me was 1995 was my last year of high school. Carrie says, Ken, you've been playing around to find new moves, brings back good memories. Yeah. You guys, I'm going to tell you the truth too. Like, I am going to be 80 years old and I'm still going to be like learning stuff. To me, that's like, I'm an explorer. That's where I really get the most out of life, is coming up with new creative ideas. What about stalls? Can we do anything with stalls? We can do this drop. I don't know. Stalls feel a little weird, but I'm sure there's got to be something cool that can be done with a stall too. All right, I'm gonna go back here to the YouTube. Yao Ming's friend says, I take LED chucks from Popular Glow website to raves and people love it. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep, absolutely. I'm gonna do a little bit more exploring just because I've been babbling for a bit here. So what I found was successful so far that we have found, one is the new move that I think that I really like is the chain unwinder, where we can kind of dip our hands under each side and then we kind of clap it together into here, and this sets us up to be able to twist it into a nice chain unwinder. If you can do it right, you can probably throw it to catch it. So that's kind of cool. How can you get into that move? You can probably do like a double catch like this and you're doing your bounces or whatever, and then the moment you can do like a downward stall, pop it up and catch it there. I think right now that's where I'm going with that. Either that or you can be two back grips. If you're in two back grips, I feel like that would set you up to just clap in. So the two back grips already set your hands in the position, as opposed to front grips. Because if you're in front grips, you can't clap in because you're on the top. If you're in back grips, you're on the bottom. See, but it's those kinds of things, right? It's just like figuring out, okay, we can clap in with two back grips. So what can we do with two back grips until then, right? Maybe we can work on front to back hand rolls. So yes, that's how it would work, because this should get me into a second. So here's two front grips. Now we're gonna work a transition into it. I'm in two front grips now. So I'm gonna roll it through to get this to a back grip, boom. And I'm gonna roll it through here, and this should be in a back grip, here. So that could be the combo to get us into the chain unwinder, here. Yeah, that's exactly it. So it's kind of cool. That's kind of how my brain works. It's like, okay, I need to be in two back grips here. How do I get to two back grips when I've been training in two front grips? I've gotta go to two front to back grips. Here's a front to back grip here, whoosh. Gotta keep it in motion. Front to back hand grip here, boom. And I gotta do another one over here, twist it out of the way, flicking it up, catch it, chain unwinder. And then we throw it in the air, whoosh. And I catch it. And we do another one because I caught it right back on the chain. There we go. Yes. Very cool. Very cool. Super fun. Ow. So, yeah, one more time. These are the Cerberus nunchucks from Dark Monk. We're testing them out. If you want to check out Dark Monk's chucks, just go to dark-monk.com. If you want to build your own, that'd be pretty sweet too. I really encourage you guys. I think it'd be cool to start a Cerberus community. Really, it would be cool. Just start a whole new community where we can just explore and try to figure out new moves together, because there's a lot. I feel like there's a lot, but it's really complicated. It's not that it's complicated, it just requires a different mindset. It just requires a different mindset than a nunchuck. But you can steal a lot of the moves and still come up with stuff. I wonder about like, oh, this is gonna be, I was thinking like kind of isolation type moves, but the other chuck gets in the way, but there's also kind of something cool about that chuck getting in the way. Let's see here. Because we can, oh man. Yeah, it's really challenging. So what I'm trying to do is, I was thinking about like this kind of isolation, you know? So how can we apply that to this? It's a little bit harder because, again, when my hand is flicking, there's this extra one that just kind of dangles. So then I was thinking, well, what if we kind of kept it in motion a little bit? So it's like on the opposite side while I'm doing this motion, but I think that just looks sloppy. It's very sloppy. Ugh. Fail. And you know, I've said this a million times, but you need to have a healthy view of failure if you want to pick up something new. Actually, if you want to be successful about anything, you gotta look at failure as paying your dues. The most important thing is to learn from your failures. You're gonna fail a lot, and that's not actually failing anyways, that's just making a mistake. I think failing, the true essence of failing is giving up because you feel defeated. Like, it's okay to give up if it's not the thing for you, but if you've given up just because it's too hard and you feel defeated, that is a failure in my opinion. That is how you fail. If you want to do it, right? If you need to do it 1,000 times, do it 1,000 times. That's okay. You'll eventually get it. You gotta work it though, and you gotta keep adapting and keep looking at different angles and figuring out how you can make it work. You might have to like take a different strategy completely, but that is how you succeed. Yeah, I'm really liking that one. The front to back hand roll, give it an extra beat, back to front. It's almost like we're kind of doing like this horizontal, it's almost like a horizontal figure eight with double chucks, but totally different. And then I think if there's a way to include the other hand into it, but into this flow right now, it's just going too fast, but to include the other hand, so then we can kind of keep this constant rotation going. I feel like that would be a really cool combo. Yeah, that feels really good. To be honest, this right here, like this kind of stuff feels great. Now that I'm starting to get the feel for it a little bit more. Just gotta make sure I don't wind myself up too much. All that stuff feels really nice. That's interesting. It's almost like I could do like a, oh, it's too high. I feel like I'm almost like winding it through into a stall and there's something there, but I can't quite find it. Let's see. Oh, man. Yeah, there's definitely something there with that. We haven't even tried front to fronts. So front to front puts us in a cross grip if we're doing here. So if I do like a front to front hand roll, puts us in a cross grip with this one in the center. I haven't even worked cross grips. I wonder what we can do with this. This feels very limited right now. I guess you could reverse out of it. So if we do a front to front hand roll, oops. Obviously you can do a front to back to get out of it, but I'm sure that there's going to be a really cool, there's got to be something here that we can do. It would be rotating this way. Even if we, let's see. Even if we passed it through, like my initial thought was try to catch the chuck as it rolls through and then pop the other one out like this. That will put us in a back grip, but that will also open up the chuck. And then maybe go into an X catch. The only problem is the chuck flew in front of me, so now I'm stuck. Missed it. Anyways, I'm gonna read some comments here. Indigo Child, Yao Ming's friend, me too, with Fire 2, love the festivals. Wish I could live there. I feel that too, man. That was a huge part of my life. was doing shows at festivals and for a long time. It wasn't probably until about 3 years ago that I really focused more on corporate work. Yeah. Yao Ming's friend. Hi kids, when they see LEDs, be like, yep. Playing with people's fun. It is really fun. And again, that's one reason I like the chucks too. When you with chucks, you can really get up in front of a person. You don't have to worry about, as you do string manipulations, you don't have to worry about hitting them so much. If you have doubles, I mean, you could probably still do it as long as they don't move. You can still get in close and do all your like nice little intricate moves. But I feel like you got to be a little bit further away just in case they make that step forward. Whereas here you're pretty safe, getting right up in people's faces and getting all of the motions because there's just like this feeling of control. I really like these kinds of things too. Like when you get close, the ability to do infinite X catches, redirects, and a lot of these isolation rolls. I feel like it always looks good when it's close. Whoa! I have a keyboard right next to me and I'm gotta make sure I don't hit it. But yeah, Nunchucks is home base. I think the reason why I like them so much is just because they're home base. When I express myself with these, I feel in complete control, even when I drop them. There's just something really good that I can feel with these. All right. One more round with the Cerberus, and then I'm gonna sign off here. I'm gonna go on my Facebook page real quick, see if anyone has anything. All right. Let's see. Eric says, still working. I'll rewatch the stream when I get home. Cool. Yao Ming, an infinite spin is always a pleaser. Yes, that would be, yeah, infinite spins. Like, I wonder how we can get this to go infinitely while staying interesting. I mean, I feel like you can do figure eight wrist rolls. You kind of have to clear. It's like back to front happens here, spin it forward, front to back to front. But I feel like that looks a little, the body positioning looks a little weird to me. But there's gotta be something where you can just go to town with this extra chuck. Like, I feel like it just feels like it's wound up and it's ready to just, you know, or something. It just feels like it wants to roar. I feel like it's locked up and it wants to get out. And it would totally change the dynamics, but I haven't figured out how we can change it. Maybe we can like rotate between all three of the chucks with the hand rolls instead of right now this is going with two, which is not much different than just doing this, but then holding an extra chuck behind it, right? That's not that exciting. But there's probably some way to incorporate the spinning of all three of these chucks to where it just gets a lot more intricate. Like, there's gotta be some sweep. Oh, that's hard. For now, it's hard. It's hard for now. It's like whoosh, we're in the back grip, spin it around. Oh man. It's really easy to get wound up. Really easy to get wound up with these things. You know, this is kind of fun. I enjoy this because I'm just chilling, really. I'm not trying to teach nothing. I'm just trying to share and explore and come up with weird ideas. It's kind of fun. And I wonder if, you can still pull off a chain unwinder and have this one free. I just wonder if there's something else you could do with this thing. I don't know. It's just kind of sitting there though. Let's see. Zhang Yi says, "Good job, dude. Always watching." Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I feel like there's definitely something to a figure eight wrist roll, but incorporating that extra hand here. But I just don't know what that could be yet. I can't seem to keep the motion going the moment I switch hands. It wants to stay. So it just kind of wants to hang there. This is why we need more Cerberus spinners. So if there's enough people doing it, then maybe we could just make a little group where we're all just kind of sharing videos. I think it'd be fun. So let me know if you guys do end up getting a Cerberus. Send me a video. You know, my email address is kenhillfire, KenHillfire at gmail.com. And again, you know, anytime you have questions, you can send me an email. Sometimes it's hard for me to respond. Like, I have a queue of questions I still need to answer, so I'll get back to you. Don't worry, I always get back to everyone. But send me an email if you'd like, and also don't forget I have Patreon down below. If you do love the channel and you want to keep supporting all these crazy things that I keep doing, on patreon.com/flowtricks, or you can go to PayPal and just do a one-time tip jar donation if you appreciate these. Even if not, you know, I'll keep making these because I want to, because this is what I've been doing for 10 years, and I think I'm gonna do it for another 30. So I'm not be crazy. 30 years I'm gonna be in my 70s. Be in my 70s, and I think it'd be pretty awesome if I'm still teaching nunchucks in my 70s. Maybe by then we'll have like a quadruple or 5 chucks on a ring or something crazy, and we're just like, yeah, this is easy, and we're just like, I think that'd be pretty sick. And then you know what's gonna happen? We're gonna have all these people from all these video game designers like hitting us up, being like, hey dude, like, how do you do these moves? You know, that would be pretty sweet, right? Like, come on, like, let's open up the Cerberus and then contact Konami and be like, hey, look, Dante's cool and all, but you know, he's not doing enough digit rolls or something, I don't know. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is kind of me signing off. I'm gonna read one more thing, and then I'm gonna head on out here. Yao Ming's friend says, thank you for your time, Ken. I haven't picked up my chucks in a while, and now I'm really inspired. Awesome. No, I'm glad to hear that. Whether you pick up chucks or you pick up martial arts or you pick up some sort of thing, especially with COVID and everything like this, I really urge you guys to keep finding an outlet. If things are tough, like for me, last year was really hard. Like, COVID sucked. It was really difficult. But flow is something we always have, man. And we also have the internet and all the great teachers and people out there still trying to push things forward to keep us moving. Because that's life, man. Life is movement. Like, you're either moving or you're resting. You're breathing in or you're breathing out. So I hope you guys stay in motion, take your breathers when you need to, and get back into it. Boom. If you want, make your own Cerberus chucks or get some from Dark Monk. Let me know either way. If you do, that'd be pretty sick. You guys, it's been a pleasure. As always, thank you, and I'll see you all soon.